Hello, welcome to my booktube channel, Loc'D, and today we're going to talk about something that you've probably heard me talk about it all over Twitter for a very long time, and I just want to really get into sleep. So today is going to be a personal story and also review and just talking about this book that I recently read called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. First, I want to talk about my sleep journey. So a lot of you may or may not know that I'm a therapist, and I also specialize in trauma, specifically childhood trauma, and working on that healing, whether it's within yourself, whether it's generational healing or intergenerational healing. Those are my specific interests and things in which you can say, specialize in. So those are like my big things in the field of psychology. So I became interested in doing trauma work because it is something that I've experienced myself and something that I've seen have very, very adverse consequences when it's not checked. A lot of times when a person is experiencing a lot of trauma when they are a child or through those early development years, sleep can be an indicator of fear or a stress response. When I was a child, things happened to me. That's when I can recall my first moments of having true difficulty with sleeping, and it stuck with me all the way until my current life. So I've been having sleep problems for a very, very, very long time, and I have tried everything, you name it, teas, supplement, pills, everything, and it is very hard for me to fall asleep. It's very hard for me to stay asleep. There are a lot of issues with my sleep, so I try to be very cognizant of that, and I thought that I was getting a handle on it, and it was fake news. So I started reading this book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and I didn't get this recommendation from anywhere. I was on Libby and looking up sleep books and like what I can read that gives me more information about sleep, gives me more of a scientific background about sleep. So I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm looking up books, and I ran across this book, and I won't lie to you, the first paragraph I was like, I just felt like I needed to go to sleep, because very early in this book he talks about the fact that you cannot make up your sleep. It's gone. If you had bad sleep, you just had bad sleep. And that right there just made me think about my life and my age, and was like, if you can't make up your sleep, well, I need to start getting like some sleep. I need to start going to sleep. So that was very eye-opening to me, because I don't think it was something I ever thought about in that context. So I started to tell myself, okay, well, you need to fix this. Like, this cannot be an ongoing thing. And although I have done a lot of work on working on the traumas that I have experienced, I also realized that there will always be a legacy of it, right? And how do you manage that legacy is up to you. And I realized that I was not managing the sleep legacy part of my trauma. Years ago, I bought a Fitbit, and I haven't sold it. I just kept it in like my electronic box, and I haven't been using it because I am allergic to the band, I think, and it just like ate away the skin on my wrist. So I was like, okay, we're gonna charge that up and only use it at night. Like, only use it when I go to sleep, and maybe just using it for just sleep, it won't have an adverse reaction on my skin. Needless to say, I was wrong, but I tried it. But I end up really trying to take in consideration the stuff that was said in Why We Sleep. those considerations are as follows. Do not drink caffeine 2 hours before you go to bed. Do not eat or exercise 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Make sure that if you are taking a nap, take that nap before 3 p.m. Try to drink as much water as you can to help your body prepare you for sleep. Try not to look at your screen a couple hours before you go to bed, because looking at your screen can inhibit your natural way of producing melatonin, so that it can prepare you for better sleep and better quality of deep REM sleep. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use all these things and try my best and go to sleep. So for the first 3 weeks, it was working really well. And then some other unknown stressors came into my life, and I pretty much regressed. And now I'm back to sleeping 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, but the last couple days I've been better at trying to go to sleep a little bit earlier. So I was going to do like this 30-day thing and see like what is happening to my sleep. So I personally was tracking down how often I was sleeping and any like stressors or things that was going on that impacted sleep. So I realized that there were certain things that impacted my sleep, which lets me know I need to set better boundaries. So I definitely am working on those things. And when you're working on your mental health, especially when you've experienced trauma, sometimes you have to always readjust the parameters in which you set on healing. So back in the day, I would have been like, oh my God, I just did so much good work and now I messed up, and I've been messing up for 2-3 weeks on managing my, anxieties or my trauma responses. No, that happens. It's natural. It's natural to, be doing really well, and then your stress levels just is higher than it usually is, and it might knock you off a little bit, but it's okay, it happens. So I'm giving myself that grace, and I'm saying, okay, these things happen to you, you're fine. You have the ability and the tools to continue going forward and to reset yourself and do that accordingly when you're in a space to do so. And currently I'm in a space to do so, so I'm trying to get back on track. And I understand that, and I'm not trying to be hard on myself, but there was a time where I was hard on myself about it. So I have been trying to re-drink more waters. I've been very conscious of the water I drink. Also, another tip that was given in Why We Sleep is drinking alcohol and how that can impact your ability to have deep REM sleep. And I like drinking wine occasionally, but I try to drink it earlier than much later, like maybe start at 8 o'clock versus 12 and like binge watch a show. So that right there is like not gonna help me sleep well. So I've been trying to be cognizant of those things. So it's just been really eye-opening watching my sleep patterns, how they're changing and how they improve. One of the biggest things I found while really focusing and paying close attention to my sleep since I've read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker is let me show you. So I have this. It's an eye mask. It's black. The only thing I don't like about it is this part, because I have locks and it be trying to like really come for my hair. So I try to make sure I have on my silk bonnet or my silk, they call it dreadlock. They call it dread sock. I would love if it was just called lock sock, but here we are. I sleep with that, but I have a big head, so it's much wider than this. But as you can see, it's pretty dark, like it's pretty blacked out, and I really like it. So when I put it on, like I see no light. So let me see if I can do it with the camera. See, there is like no light, so it's pretty dark, and it just helps me go to sleep. I was concerned that maybe this would be triggering and I can understand how it can be triggering for some people who have experienced like different types of trauma in the darkness, and I can definitely relate to that. But somehow this isn't triggering. It just tells my body it's time to go to sleep, sis. So I love using my eye mask. I have another eye mask that is not like this. It's more silky, and that works sometimes, but I really like that it has space for the eyeballs. Like that's what's getting me. I just love that. Just give me a little cushion for the eyeballs. It just fits so nicely. So I really like that. I think that if you are having any issues with sleep, this is a great book to start. Another part of this book that really impacted me was when the author discussed the older you become and different stages of your life and how much sleep you would need, right, to really get optimal cognitive functioning. So while reading this book, I realized, and not realized, the author spells it out from a scientific perspective, what happens to your body, the chemicals that are happening in your body, and talked about that the older that you become, the less ability that you will have to stay and maintain in deep REM sleep. And the author talked about that in your 60s or 70s, you lose about 60 or 70% of your ability to stay in deep REM sleep. And a lot of times doctors may prescribe you things or think, oh, this person has dementia, oh, this person has Alzheimer's, or some type of neurocognitive disorder, I would say, and not understanding that sleep might be the cause. So reading that, and it was just eye-opening and made me feel like, no, you need to prioritize your sleep and you need to go to sleep. So I find that to be very intriguing, and also it felt like a sign. It felt like a sign of, sis, like you gotta get it together. You can't just be out here in these sheets not sleeping. You cannot be out here in these sheets not sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Oh, again, my co-host Coralie, forgot to mention her. She might be back there trying to shake a leaf, have a leafitude for no reason. Okay, but I think it's important that you spend time and you try to figure out ways in which that you can really optimize your sleep. You might have to change your environment if you have the means and the ability to do so. You might have to incorporate different things, just try to figure out what do you need so that you can get better sleep. One of the things that the author talked about is people who feel like they need to have something on, right? They need to have something on before they go to sleep. I'm one of those people who fall asleep to Netflix. I just need to have something on. Complete silence is not the way. So the author talked about how that having a TV on can interrupt your deep REM sleep, because when you're watching a TV show, they're not always talking in the same tone. Music might get put in, sound effects. Those things can interrupt your REM sleep, and that is just not what you want. So the author suggested to have some type of sound machine. So I found this really affordable sound machine online, and that is what I use, and it has been very helpful. It also has a timer on it, so it's not just going all night. So I really like that addition, in addition to my eye mask that helps me go to sleep. Also, having a glass of water near my bed has really helped me go to sleep and be okay with being asleep. I have a body pillow that also helps me go to sleep. Sometimes you need to have extra pillows around so that you can just get yourself to sleep. The author also suggested changing lights in your house and saying that some lights can mimic daylight, which can suppress the melatonin that you naturally produce. There's also this other word or chemical he used, and I thought I wrote it down and I didn't, and I don't have a copy of the book to really find the chemical, but there's a chemical that slowly builds, you know, just slowly builds throughout the day once you wake up, and that chemical helps you go to sleep. And certain lights kind of inhibit the production of that chemical in order to get you to go to sleep. So he was like, you know, maybe you should think about getting different type of lights and different this and different that. And I go, sir, who got that coin? Who has that coin? I don't have that coin. So I just try to use natural sunlight as much as I can, although I'm definitely using my ring light right now, but I try to use natural sunlight as much as I can and have just things that have low light settings and try to just focus on that and not use my bright fluorescent light. Jesus, that was so hard to say. I try not to use those lights in the daytime and the nighttime, just no time. I really rarely cut my big light on. So I hope that was all easily understood and that you understand my point of view of sleep and how it impacts me specifically with trauma. And I can definitely answer some questions about that, the only things that I know, in the comment section. If you wanted to drop some questions there, definitely share if you feel comfortable to do so, like what has worked for you as far as sleeping, if you're also having sleeping problems, and put a sleep related emoji in the comment section below if you watch this video and have nothing else to say. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much as I talked about Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Bye.